There's a moment, late at night, when your phone screen lights up without a notification, no sound, no vibration, just light. And for a split second, it feels like something or someone is watching you. Not in the obvious way. Not through a camera you can see, but through something deeper, something silent, something built into the very systems you trust every single day. Because what if I told you, the map we've been following, the so-called Great Awakening, doesn't just talk about power or money. It claims the real control is happening through technology, through surveillance, through systems so advanced, you don't even realize you're part of them. It starts quietly, always does. A man sits alone in his apartment, scrolling endlessly. Ads appear perfectly tailored. A product he thought about earlier, but never searched. A conversation he had out loud, somehow mirrored back at him through recommendations. At first, it feels like coincidence. A glitch, something easy to ignore, but then it keeps happening. Again and again and again. The map suggests this isn't random. It claims that modern technology, phones, smart devices, even apps, isn't just designed for convenience, but for observation. Every click, every pause, every swipe, logged, stored, analyzed, not by one system, but by layers of systems, all connected in ways most people never question. The idea of surveillance isn't new. Governments have always watched, listened, collected information. But according to this part of the map, something changed when technology evolved faster than laws could keep up. Now, surveillance isn't limited to cameras on streets or intercepted calls. It's embedded into daily life. The map describes a world where data is more valuable than gold, where your habits, what you eat, what you watch, who you talk to, are turned into patterns, predictable patterns. And once a system can predict you, it doesn't just observe anymore. It begins to influence artificial intelligence. It sounds harmless, helpful even, recommending movies, organizing schedules, answering questions. But the map paints a darker picture. It claims AI isn't just learning from us. It's learning how to guide us, subtly, quietly, without resistance. Imagine an algorithm that knows exactly when you're vulnerable, when you're angry, when you're lonely, and at that exact moment, it shows you something. A video, a post, a piece of information, carefully selected, not to inform you, but to shape what you believe next. There's a term often mentioned: mass surveillance, not just watching individuals, but entire populations. The map suggests that every device connected to the internet becomes part of a network, a web, one that continuously feeds data into systems that grow smarter every second. Cameras recognize faces, microphones pick up patterns in speech, even typing speed, hesitation, the way you scroll. All of it builds a digital version of you, a version more predictable than you might ever realize. And once that version exists, you're no longer just living your life. You're being mapped. But here's where it becomes unsettling. Because the map doesn't just talk about surveillance. It talks about control. It claims that the same systems used to observe behavior can also manipulate it. Subtle changes, slight nudges, adjusting what information reaches you and what doesn't. Over time, those small nudges shape opinions, decisions, even reality itself. You think you're choosing what to believe, but what if those choices were guided long before you ever made them? Data monitoring, it sounds technical, distant, but according to the map, it's deeply personal. Every app permission you accept, every location you share, every time you click agree without reading, it feeds into something larger, a system that doesn't sleep, doesn't forget. It tracks movement, purchases, conversations, even silence, and the map suggests. The goal isn't just to understand individuals, it's to understand entire societies, to predict behavior on a massive scale, and quietly steer it. At this point, it starts to feel overwhelming, because if all of this is true, then where does it end? The map hints at something bigger, something more coordinated. It suggests that technology companies, data systems, and powerful institutions aren't separate, but interconnected, working within a structure that prioritizes control over transparency, obvious control. Not force, but influence, so subtle. You never realize it's happening, and that's what makes it dangerous. But then, there's a detail most people overlook. Something small, almost insignificant. The map mentions that the most powerful form of surveillance isn't external, it's voluntary. People willingly share their lives, their thoughts, their routines, posting, updating, reacting, feeding systems with more data than any surveillance program could ever collect on its own. And suddenly, the narrative shifts, because maybe this isn't something being done to people. Maybe it's something people are actively participating in, without realizing the cost. And here's the twist. The map never clearly proves that a single entity controls everything. Instead, it suggests something far more unsettling. That control doesn't require a single mastermind. It emerges naturally from systems designed to optimize engagement, profit, and efficiency. AI learns what keeps people hooked. Platforms amplify it. Data reinforces it. And slowly, the system begins to shape reality, not because it was ordered to, but because it was built that way. A machine of influence, running exactly as designed. So what's the truth? Is there a hidden force controlling everything? Or is it something far more complex and far more terrifying? The map leaves that answer open, because maybe the real danger isn't a secret group watching from the shadows. Maybe it's a world where surveillance, AI, and data systems have become so deeply embedded that control no longer needs to be enforced. It simply exists, invisible, constant, unquestioned. And now, think about this. The next time your screen lights up, the next time something appears exactly when you needed it, the next time a thought feels like your own, ask yourself, was it really yours to begin with? Or was it placed there, so quietly you'd never noticed?